Good afternoon. Welcome to Musik Messe, the vintage show, and the Sonor drums representation for the vintage show. Sonor as a company has been in business for 136 years, so we're quite pleased to bring forward some of the collection from the Sonor factory itself. Over here we have several of the snare drums that are a part of the factory's collection, starting in 1925 going on up until the mid-1960s, along with several other kits from the same era. Sonor, the company itself, was started in 1875 and managed to survive World War I, only to have their factory burned down. So they built another factory, and then at World War II, the factory was expropriated by the government of the DDR. So they not only had to rebuild, but then also relocate. So the company has basically had to reinvent itself 3 different times. And in the process has become one of the most admired and I think best manufacturers of drums in the world. As you can see here, Sonor has been making musical instruments for 136 years, as I said earlier. And starting with here we have a few examples here on display. In 1900, we have this bass drum pedal, which by modern standards is almost quite laughable. I kind of liken it to being a shop project for a high school student. However, at the time, drum pedals didn't even exist. So I think it's quite remarkable that it works, and the designs are there that have still been followed here over 100 years later. Over here we can see a double pedal invented in 1910. Take that, DW. With 2 different beaters for 2 different sounds. There's also a low boy down here, which I guess predates the hi-hat cymbals by at least a decade or so. Eventually they ended up putting a tube so that you could play it with sticks. But they're also known quite well for different innovations, or should I say experiments. This particular pedal has an eccentric cam and a leather strap going from the pedal over this idler and then around. So it's quite an interesting design, I should say. Also we have examples of some of the other catalogs, 1968 from the 1950s. And in the bottom of this display is a glockenspiel from the mid-1930s. Sonor is also known for educational Orff instruments, percussion instruments, timpanis. They've been a full-line manufacturer of all of these items ever since the turn of the 20th century, and continued on now. What we have here is a kit from the mid-60s, 1965, that was donated to the Sonor factory by Nico McBrain, who used to be a Sonor endorser many years ago. And I'm not sure whether this was his first drum kit, but it's in very nice shape. 3-ply shells. As you can see, they ended up learning as they went along. I have a kit much like this one, which does not have these bolts. What these bolts do is it has a reinforcing bar under there to keep the tom from moving around. On mine, which must have been made a year or so earlier, it moves a little bit and the shell flexes. So as they go along, they end up learning what things do work and what things don't work. The kit also has a canister throne, which you see guys like Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa using. Prior to being here at this show and seeing this kit, I'd never seen another one in the flesh. I'd only seen pictures of them, had people send me pictures of them for my website. What we have here is a kit from 1952. Shortly after World War II, pardon me, of course Germany was partitioned into 2 countries. The original location of the Sonor factory was in East Germany, now in East Germany. About 1950, all of the businesses in East Germany of any size were nationalized. So in other words, the the police came and took the factory away. The owner of the company, quite literally, was at his home. The police were knocking on the front door to arrest him, and he was hopping out the back window to escape. So they ended up escaping to West Germany, to the little town of Aue, Bad Berleburg, which is about 2 hours north of Frankfurt. And they had to start over completely in 1950. By 1952, they had gotten machinery and started production back up, trained a new workforce, and these are the first drums that they were manufacturing at that time. Of course, this kit has concert toms. They made their own calfskin heads. I'm sure a lot of the hardware was done in-house as well. They had chroming facilities and such. So I think it's a tribute to their tenacity that they didn't just fold up at that particular point in time and go away. What we have behind me is called the Sonor Jet Set, and it's called the Jet Set because in 1993 they decided to do an homage to the grandson of the founder of the company, Horst Link, who was getting ready to retire. They decided to do this kit in a limited run of 25 kits. But the reason they call it the Jet Set is that the price of the kit included round-trip airfare from anywhere in the world to the factory in Germany, and then they would send the kit back with you. It features 24 karat gold plating on all of the hardware, 12-ply maple shells with a gloss finish. As you can see, this is the Signature Series hardware is very, very heavy. You wouldn't want a club date with this stuff on a regular basis. We also feature a Signature Series brass snare. This particular one isn't original to this kit, but it is from the Signature Series, and they stopped making these in the early 2000s. I hope you've enjoyed this hopefully brief explanation of Sonor and its company history and some examples of the drums. For more information, come to my website, which is www.sonormuseum.com, or the factory's website at www.sonor.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hey everybody, welcome to iDrum and to issue 9. We're delighted to have as our cover artist Mr. Benny Bread, Tony Royster, Marco Minimum, Blue Man Group and Muggs Kane. Inside you'll also find our Frankfurt Music Messe roundup for this year. Reviews? We have reviews. We have the Alesis sample and perk pads. We take a look at Evans G14 heads. We also look at Lewitt's specific drum mics. We get to sit behind a Natal Babinga set. Sam gets to check out some Peisty 20 custom cymbals, Pearl's Vision Birch set. And finally, we take a look at the fabulous Yamaha Club custom drums. In tech sessions, you'll find all the tuition you'll need to make you a smarter, better player. And of course, to round off the issue, we have our regular CD and DVD reviews. Okay, that's it. I'm going to get out of the way and let you enjoy this issue of iDrum magazine. Don't forget, you can always contact us if there's anything that you want to know about or anything you want to ask us. So that's the kind of people we are. That's it. iDrum, it's the perfect mag for everybody.